Welcome to this video tutorial on using the new APA 7th edition for student papers. Here are some basics about the APA 7th edition. The line spacing is double throughout the entire paper. While there is not a specified font, it should be uniform and legible. The running header is no longer required for student papers. Only the page number is in the header and it is flush with the right margin. The first line of each new paragraph is indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. Exceptions to this are the abstract and block quotations. Left align all text, excluding headings. The references are listed on their own page. The word references is bolded and centered at the top of the page. The title page. The paper's title appears about 3 or 4 lines from the top of the page. The title is bolded and centered. The student's name is 4 lines below the title. The remaining information will be double-spaced. It should be the department and college name, the course number and course name, the professor's name, and the assignment's due date in month, day, year format. The abstract page. If this is required, the abstract is on its own page. The word abstract is centered at the top on the top line and it is bolded. The abstract's text is flush with the left margin and double-spaced. It should summarize the concepts presented in the paper and should not exceed 250 words. Define abbreviations and acronyms in the abstract. Below the abstract, list the paper's keywords. The word keywords is indented 1/2 inch from the left margin and italicized. A colon comes after the word keywords and precedes the listing of those keywords. For the body of the paper's title is on the top line. It is centered and bolded. The first line of every new paragraph is indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. Use the past tense of verbs in the paper's texts. Use the third person voice, it, one, them, they, their, and they are when writing. Use the first person voice, I, me, my, mine, we, our, and ours, when describing results from research conducted by yourself. In-text citations, the basics. The general format will be the author's last name and the publication year enclosed in parentheses. This type of in-text citation is known as the parenthetical in-text citation. You'll notice that it is a parentheses, the author's last name, a comma, the publication year, and then the close parentheses. In-text citations are required for direct quotations, paraphrased and summarized resource material used in the paper. They identify the material's source in the paper, and their placement is after the content and before a period at the end of a sentence. The signal phrase or narrative in-text citation uses the author's name in the body of the sentence. Immediately following the author's name will be the publication year enclosed in parentheses. When citing authors, one author, you'll use the author's last name, comma, the publication year, and a close parentheses. In the narrative, you'll have the author's name, the parentheses, the publication year, and then the rest of the sentence. When citing a work by 2 authors, for for the parenthetical, you'll use an ampersand to separate the two authors' names. In the narrative, you'll use the word and. When you have an article that has 3 or more authors, use only the first author's last name followed by et al. In the parenthetical, it will look like the author's name, et al., comma, the publication year. The narrative will be the author's last name, et al., and then the publication year enclosed in parentheses, followed by the rest of the sentence. When citing an organization, follow the same guidelines when an organization or agency is the author of a work. The organizations that are known better by an acronym or abbreviation use the entity's full name and follow it with the acronym or abbreviation enclosed in square brackets for the first usage. Subsequent references, you may use the acronym or the abbreviation. When using the organization's name in the body of the sentence, spell out the organization's name. In-text citations for an unknown author. Use the first 1 to 3 words of the title for the parenthetical in-text citation. Use the full title of the item for the narrative. Italicize book titles and enclose in quote marks for titles of articles and videos. For in-text citations following a short quotation, that which is less than 40 words, include the page number as an element within the in-text citation. For instance, you'll have your quoted text, parentheses, the author's last name, comma, the publication year, comma, the abbreviation P period for one page, the page number, and then the close parentheses, and then the rest of the sentence. Now, when you're doing a quotation and using the author's name as a narrative in-text citation, the page number will come immediately after the close quote mark for the quoted text. For in-text citations for long quotations that are more than 40 words, these should be in a block format. The left margin of the quote is indented a uniform 1/2 inch from the paper's left margin. The first line of the block quote begins on a new line. Type the quote without quote marks. The in-text citation comes after the end of the sentence punctuation. For in-text citations that do not have page numbers, provide another location element, and this can be a chapter number, a paragraph number, section name, or number. The in-text citation for a quotation will have this format. For the parenthetical, it'll be the quoted text, parentheses, the author's last name, comma, the publication year, comma, and in this case we have P.A.R.A. period 3, and then the rest of the sentence. The abbreviations to use for these location elements are CH for chapter, PARA for paragraph, and SECT for the section name or number. For the reference page, basics. The word references is bolded and centered at the top of a new page. Source references are in a hanging paragraph format. Double space all reference entries Alphabetize the entries by the first author's last name or title if the author is unknown. Two or more works by the same author should be ordered by the publication date with the oldest entry listed first. For listed sources, capitalize only the first word of the book or article titles, subtitles, and proper nouns. For journal articles, provide the Document Object Identifier, or DOI, after the article's page number range. For electronic articles without an assigned DOI, provide the article's URL. The basic format for electronic sources is the author's last name, followed by their first and middle initials, the publishing date in year, month, day order, enclosed in parentheses, the title of the item in italics, the site name, and then the URL. For references that have one and two authors, for one author, you'll use the author's last name, their first and middle initials only, a parentheses, the year of publication, period, the title of the work, italicized, and again, only the first word of the title and subtitle are capitalized, a period, and then the publisher's name. When you have two authors, you will list the first author's last name, their initials, and then the second author's last name and then their initials. There's an ampersand that separates the two names. When you have a reference that has 3 to 20 authors, list each author's last name, their initials, separate the names with a comma, and precede the last listed name with an ampersand. When you have an article or source that has more than 20 authors, list the first 19 authors' last names and initials. Use ellipses in place of the remaining names. Follow the ellipses with an ampersand and then provide the last author's name and initials. Some useful tools and resources are the American Psychological Association APA Style Guide, 7th edition, the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or OWL, and citation tools that are available in most databases. Please note the citation tools available in the majority of the databases, as well as those in Microsoft Word, are still providing APA 6th edition formatting at this time. You also have access to the library citation help guides. And then again, MS Word, the references tool, is still using APA 6th edition. Thank you for watching this video tutorial on the APA 7th edition formatting for student papers.